Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Racing Show.
My name is Milan, just in case people didn't know.
And my name is Pia. Thank you guys for joining us. As you probably know, if you are currently in August 2024,
Yes.
The Olympics are happening. We're currently in summer break for Formula One. It's a little bit of a slower season or point of the season right now. So what we decided to do today was to go through the F1 grid in reverse order and pick a Olympic discipline we think these drivers could potentially compete in. We're doing it for F1 solely because this is the grid we are most familiar with at this point in time. My hope, and I'm sure your hope will be also maybe in 2 years for the Winter Olympics, we'll be more familiar also with MotoGP riders and maybe some other drivers as well. So maybe we can expand
Some other series and championships.
Exactly, yeah. So we can expand this. But basically, yeah. So we both created our own lists independent from each other. You are not allowed to repeat an event, essentially. So let's see what we got. I have to say it was hard.
It was hard. It's also like this is purely based off of vibes. Besides like one person, two people. For my list, two people where I'm like, this probably makes sense.
Yeah, for me it was also vibe, maybe something maybe that I've seen them done before, or I could just imagine them being good at for a variety of reasons.
Or sometimes I was just like, this nation is good at the sport, and that's why you're doing the sport.
Okay, I tried to not go necessarily by background.
Well, this was for me. I was running out of things.
No,
I was like,
I get it. It was really, really hard. But definitely chime in the comments if you agree, disagree, or maybe if
your own suggestions.
Exactly. Do let us know. Or if you can think of a different driver from some other race that would be perfect for a specific Olympic kind of discipline or event.
Correct.
All right, so let's start off. I think the first one that we're going to start off with, who is Valtteri Bottas, was one of the easier ones.
So I
correct?
have my cheat list.
I have my cheat
This
sheet
one was
as well.
probably the easiest one with one other person on the grid because Valtteri is known to cycle extensively outside of F1. I know other drivers obviously cycle too, but because his girlfriend is a professional cyclist, and you see him a lot, so I picked cycling road.
Okay, nice. I was thinking about that as well. However, I ended up giving him the triathlon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because
okay,
I think he's a super outdoorsy, period, and he does swim and he also runs. So I was like, okay, instead of just road cycling, which I 100% agree with, that's a good category for him, I thought I would give him the triathlon.
I had thought about doing like maybe the indoor cycling situation, but I don't think he would be that into it. Clearly, he likes to be in the outdoors.
Yes.
He's like Finn Australian at this point, right?
Yeah,
it's
that's
Finn
true.
Aussie at this point. So yeah, that's why I picked that. So this was pretty easy.
Perfect. Yeah, that one was easy, but the next one immediately was hard for me.
This one I was just like, whatever, I'm just picking a sport.
So next up we have Logan Sargent. I originally, which I ended up changing it, but originally I had him shooting.
You don't, I think, no further questions.
Yeah, and I no further explanation needed.
No further explanation.
But I ended up changing it.
I will say, though, even though I don't think the U.S. is really that dominant in shooting in the Olympics.
No, not at all.
Because, like, the Olympic, well, at least the famous or the viral people are...
this year, Turkish and South Korean.
South Korean,
yes, exactly. But I know we've had some good ones also in, like, shot put and, like, there's
maybe
so many different
that's true.
categories.
There's so many, like subcategories, yeah.
Exactly. But I ended up changing it to, which might be left field, weightlifting.
Wow. Okay, I didn't have... Okay, I can already spoiler alert. Should I say that? Okay, well, I'm just going to say it now. I don't have anyone for weightlifting because they're all so slim.
I thought it maybe for like a lighter weight category. I mean, because he is lighter weight. And I honestly had a really hard time putting him in anything else.
Yes.
So besides the shooting stuff.
Yeah.
So I ended up going with weightlifting because and obviously he works out, and I saw him on an Instagram with a picture where he does like a pull up with like weights hanging from him.
Oh, okay, very good.
So I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean, yeah, I know this is a stretch.
Okay,
what about you?
I did rowing.
Oh, okay.
I
have rowing on my list, but for somebody else.
Okay, I have rowing on there because I was like, I think a lot of them have the physique for rowing.
Yeah, I can see that.
It is also still a like competitive sport,
Yes.
and it's like quote unquote racing. You're racing other
Yes,
people,
yes.
so that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the only reason.
That's
really.
fair. So who do we have for Zhou?
So for Guan Yu, I picked. This was really hard for me. I was like, okay, Guan Yu actually has really good style and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, maybe he could do one of the cool sports. So we consider all of the new sports that are being brought to the Olympics the cool sports.
Yes.
Because I think they're also supposed to bring also like a younger.
Yeah, like
Maybe-
that's just like skating, BMX,
Yeah,
breakdancing
surfing
now,
and all that stuff.
surfing.
But then I was like, I had already given them away to other people. So I gave him trampoline.
Oh, okay.
I was like, he looks like he could do flips.
Nice.
You know? And it's still cool because you do it. I mean, obviously, trampoline is also incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
And F1 is dangerous. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Joe, that's you.
I was originally agreeing with you with the cool ones.
Yeah,
I was leaning towards breakdancing.
Okay.
Just because he has a good style, but I wasn't sure how he moves.
Correct.
So I ended up going with indoor track cycling, the team category.
Okay.
Because I thought he is a good team player.
Yeah, obviously.
He works well with Valtteri. He's been on bicycles before because I've seen him on the track riding bicycles.
So we know he can ride it.
Exactly. So I feel like it might be a good sport because it's also like there's strategy, there's clear like order of things. And it is still very competitive, and it's on a track, essentially.
Yes, flawless logic, just like my trampoline.
I know. I mean, this one was a little bit... This one came not as easy to me.
All of them have been pretty difficult for me.
Okay, so next up we have Albon.
So Albon, I was like, Albon is tall, but he's also quick. It seems like he might be quick, right?
Yes.
He has quick reflexes. Obviously, all F1 drivers do.
Yes.
So I just went randomly with badminton mixed doubles.
Oh, interesting. I do have badminton on my list too.
Okay,
for
I
somebody
thought
else.
he would be good at badminton, and I think he's a good partner. You know.
Yes,
So
I agree.
So he could do. I just did mixed doubles because I like it because I've seen some of it in the
Yes.
Olympics and it was really really cool. And I think there was this. I think it was this Chinese duo.
Yes, we saw
where-
China getting versus US at one point.
And so the Chinese woman was obviously a little bit smaller, and the Chinese man was very tall. So I was like, okay, that could be Albon in the back, getting it on there, you know.
And it's because it is super fast. I mean, the shuttle. I'm not going to say the second part of the word. Goes really fast. They were even saying, the commentator said it's on occasions faster than an F1 car.
Yeah, because they hit like crazy speeds.
Crazy
So it's like
speeds.
badminton, and I honestly think badminton is also a lot of fun because
It
like
is.
to get into badminton, like the skill level is very low.
To get into it?
Yeah, it's like anyone can pick
like
it up.
anybody could just like because we played it in the yard.
Yeah,
and stuff
like exactly.
That.
So it's like
yeah,
you can play it easily in the backyard. You don't even technically need the net.
No,
So
yes.
you can just like not competitively, but you can just like
No,
pop
I
it back
agree.
and
I agree.
forth.
It's easy to get into it. Yes. So I have, for a similar reasoning, because he's also taller, he's fast, quick reflexes, he's light. I mean, it's a description of almost all F1 drivers.
Yes.
But I was thinking climbing, like bouldering.
Interesting. Okay, I have that on my list too, but for a very different person.
Oh, interesting. So I thought, because originally I was thinking, oh, maybe golf. But then I remembered the video where his girlfriend like had seen him play golf, but he didn't do so well. And she was, I think, maybe it was the same interview, maybe it wasn't the same interview, where she had commented she liked him because he wasn't like the best at it.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
So that's why I was like, okay, maybe not golf because he's not the best at golf.
Well, that's why we also said like only one category, one discipline, because
Yes.
a lot of them play golf.
Yes.
So then you could have applied it for like half of the
Exactly.
field.
So, but yeah, so I had rock climbing or climbing for him. Next up, we have Ocon.
So for Ocon, because he's also very tall, very thin, I did pole vaulting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I could see him like doing that and
Yeah.
like vaulting over that
Nice.
and then, doing the thing.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I ended up choosing fencing.
Interesting. Okay, I
Yes.
do have fencing on there too,
Uh-huh.
but I was like, might as well put that height to use.
Oh,
You know?
no, I hear that. I
You
mean,
know?
it is useful to have long limbs in fencing as well. And what I thought also with him in particular for fencing is because he comes from a not wealthy background, it's again like an underdog story maybe for him to succeed in fencing. So that's where I was
Okay.
going at. Okay, next up we have Magnussen.
Okay, Magnussen was the most difficult one
That
for
was
me,
hard.
and that's why this one is the most random one.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, okay, Magnussen, I know has a child,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, what do
I
you
don't know where this is going.
what do you do with children? Kind of like play around with them. So I was like, judo. Like what? Not that he judo caused his daughter, right? But I was like, I don't know. Maybe he's like wrangling
That
around.
is funny. That's funny.
And so I was like, that is probably the most out of pocket one. Because I was like, I didn't know what
Yes.
he's into.
Agreed.
But I was like, judo.
I ended up choosing road cycling for him. Because
Okay.
I feel like I've seen him ride bicycles before. I mean, that's really like,
I've seen you on a bike, mate. I mean, it's the same like judo. Come on.
Yeah, I had a hard time.
This
for
probably
him.
makes more sense than judo.
What about, okay, next up is Gasly.
So
What-
Gasly, I was like, definitely a cool sport. Because I was like, Gasly gives me cool people vibes.
Okay.
He also has the number 10, which is clearly the coolest number. So I thought for him was BMX racing.
Oh, interesting. I have that for somebody else. So I'm actually curious if any of ours will overlap. So far, no.
No, I thought it was like, oh, what about BMX freestyle? I didn't give anyone BMX freestyle because I thought it was like a little too dangerous. Because
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, they're still F1 racers.
Ah,
So they're doing
okay.
this as their side sport.
Gotcha. I
make
put
any sense.
Gasly, I put football, so soccer.
Okay,
'Cause he-
I had him on there too, but then and actually had another driver on for soccer. I didn't put soccer down at all, so I can say I actually had Leclerc down for soccer
Oh,
too.
okay.
But then Monaco actually doesn't have an official soccer team because it's not good enough.
You
so
can't
they're
do
not
one-on-one?
So they're not recognized by like the FIFA or anything
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
So I was like, he wouldn't be able to play by. No.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
But
Next,
obviously French,
oh,
very good.
yeah. Next one is maybe a little bit of a surprise. He's on the driver championship list, so that's why we included him.
Yeah.
Which is Ollie Behrman, which of course we will have him next year full time on the grid. So
Oh.
for Ollie Behrman, I decided.
Sorry, I just realized I did judo twice.
Oh,
Stupid.
I ended up giving Ollie because he's one of the taller ones. I gave him volleyball.
Oh, very good, very good. I have
Yes.
volleyball on there too. Do you have it specifically indoor or outdoor?
This one is indoor volleyball, so
Okay.
like the team, the larger team volleyball.
Okay, so I gave him actually. Originally, I had him down for fencing,
Ah,
but then I actually changed him to diving,
Ooh.
3-meter springboard.
interesting. Very
Specifically
particular.
3 because they like bounce really high. And I was
Oh.
like, obviously he's also very lean or whatever. And I was like, maybe he could do like the perfection really good,
Okay.
because he did really well in his obviously F1 debut.
Nice.
Okay.
Next up, we have Danny Ricciardo.
This one was one of the easier ones.
Yes.
So this one was
okay.
for him. My thought process was because he's really big into Texas and big into horses. I did equestrian, but I did jumping because
Interesting.
I thought for dressage
Uh-huh.
he would be a little bit too wild for that, and I
Uh-huh.
don't think he would be interesting enough. But the one where they like jump across and
Yes.
stuff, I
The
was like,
outdoor, like the cross country one.
the cross
or-
country one, I thought would fit him best.
Yes.
Besides, because I think he would like to jump over like a river,
Oh,
creek or whatever.
okay, gotcha.
I
Yes,
thought
yes, yes.
I thought he would like that.
I like that. I like that. For him, I ended up choosing BMX racing.
Okay, I think that I thought for Danny a cool, quote unquote, cool sport because I
Yes.
know equestrian is very like uptight and stiff.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe he's a bad boy of equestrian.
No,
Whatever.
No. I hear that because my thought was I feel like I've seen him BMXing before, and he
Oh,
also does
interesting.
like a lot of like outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
I could have put mountain biking, I think, as well, but because there was this big story in this year's Olympic with BMX and Australia, I'm not going to say anything yet because we still want to watch it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Um,
Oh,
But-
outside of the tricking.
Outside of the tricking,
Wow.
yes. So that's why I decided to choose BMX racing.
Interesting, interesting.
All right, next up we have, I almost said the sport I chose, Tsunoda.
So I think you picked gymnastics.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So I thought gymnastics might be the obvious thing.
I thought so too.
Because of his stature, because he's obviously a little bit shorter.
And he's also...
He's a little bit like stocky.
I mean, not stocky is an
Stocky,
exaggeration,
like
but compared to the others.
Because obviously, yeah, he still has to weigh a certain weight,
Yes.
obviously. But for him, this was also one of the ones, because I saw that he is very, like, he's very agile. Like, I saw him, like, jump over something before and stuff like that. And his nation is famously very good at that.
Oh,
I picked breakdancing.
Oh, I like that.
I picked
like that.
breakdancing for you.
I took a little bit of a different route. It might be more tricky for him to be part of the sport. But I could see it, maybe with obviously some training and things, because he has the right attitude, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up choosing rugby 7.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay,
it's still like a team sport. He has a little bit more like a fire, or like he doesn't mind being also like dive bombing. And
That
stuff.
is true. However, I think what I've seen online is also like rugby players are like very respectful when it comes to their contact with the refs.
Yes. So I mean, it's like
They
it's
need
a
to
mix.
dial in his temper.
It's a mixed bag, but it might be a great outlet for him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that is
So,
true.
but I feel like I could see him on a pitch with some other dudes.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we have Hülkenberg.
So for Hülkenberg, I picked also again a sport because Germany had a very successful athlete in that sport. So I picked table tennis.
Oh, nice.
Because we had Timo Boll,
yes.
who was like, for years, he was very dominant in the sport. And I was like, 1 + 1 is 2.
Okay, nice. So for me, this one was a little bit more easy. I'd never seen him do anything like this before, but I could see him. And it is rowing. Him, I chose for rowing because also Germany used to be really good at it. I don't think they're doing quite as well this Olympics, but I could see him fit in with the rowing group. Next up, we have Stroll. Oh shoot! I feel like I've been showing people my others.
I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's fine. So I don't know if they can read that.
Yeah, it doesn't
upside
matter.
down in your handwriting.
Dr. Pia.
For Stroll, I picked golf.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because it is obviously, famously, his dad owns a team, you know, and it's like it's a rich people sport.
Yes.
Not that not all the other F1 drivers are rich at this point, right?
Yes.
But I was like, golf. I had it originally for someone else, but Stroll is the one that I also had a really hard time finding something, so I switched him away.
I had the same thinking. I wanted to choose like a richer people sport, but I ended up choosing tennis for him.
Oh, I think tennis is a great pick.
Yeah, because I feel like he's probably played plenty of tennis in his life, so I chose tennis for him.
Good.
All right, next up we have Alonso.
Alonso, okay, so this one I picked because I could imagine him in the vibe, you know? Because I don't know if you've ever seen these, like, there's this F1 compilation out there where, like, Alonso is doing, like, random things at, like, an F1 Grand Prix. Like, he's just living the best life. And, like, one time you can see him sitting in a lawn chair just sunbathing.
Oh, yes.
Operating the camera and all this stuff. So I picked for him beach volleyball.
Oh,
Because I could see him, you know,
fun.
like at the beach playing volleyball and having a good time, you know, just like hanging out.
I love it. I chose a completely different route for him.
Oh, interesting.
I chose him for wrestling.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes, I just feel like he could be great one-on-one. He's very smart, the way and very tactical, which you have to be as well.
And you have to be very like as a mental game for sure.
Exactly, and I feel like he also has lots of physical strength because I feel like he's also maybe a little bit more muscular than some of the other players, at least drivers. So I was like, you know what? He's gonna be wrestling for me. So next up we have Russell.
Russell, I thought aesthetically wise he would fit into this the most, and this is also once again what I would consider rich people sport. Sailing.
My God!
Yay!
Yes! Literally, my also thinking behind it was because he posts all these shirtless pics on boats. That's why I was like, sailing is
he
Russell.
probably knows how to do that stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yes. Oh, nice.
Nice.
I'm surprised we have one in
nice.
common. Okay, next up we have Perez. Oh, this one was hard for me.
So Perez, I actually also put down for judo.
Oh, that was the double.
That was the double. But this was also very random because I was like, Perez, what do you do? I don't know. So I was like judo, but then I just saw that I had put down Magnussen also for judo.
Oh.
So you give your answer, and I'm gonna try to come up with something else in the meantime.
Mine is really random because I couldn't think of anything, and I didn't want to.
I'm gonna
give
pick
him,
archery. Bam.
I didn't want to give him soccer, so I ended
Even
up
though
giving
Mexico,
him canoe slalom.
Oh yeah, very good.
Because it's also very like you have to really fight really hard, and it's like a solo sport, and like it's like also kind of how I imagine it. Because when you go down this river that they go down, you have these waves, and you have to sometimes paddle upward.
Yeah.
So it's about fighting and staying in the competition and fighting your way back. And I feel like we're hoping maybe that he does it now. So that's why I had canoe slalom.
Yeah, very good.
Next up, we have Hamilton.
This one I thought was one of the easier ones because I think you can see him actually on social media doing this a lot. So I picked surfing. You had surfing too? Nice.
Okay, nice.
This one was like a little bit obvious.
This one I thought so too, but I was like, okay, this is the one that makes the most sense. I would have definitely give him a cool
sport. Yeah, 100%.
So
if it's not that, maybe skateboarding, but because we see him surfing and he clearly already knows how to.
Yes.
So I was like,
yeah, I agree. So Hamilton is surfing. Next up, we have Sainz Jr.
This one I did mainly based off of his name. This sport I assigned to him because Carlos has like an insanely long name. He's like Carlos Cristobal. Percival is Charles.
Percival is Charles. Yeah.
Just junior or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought he would do equestrian dressage because it's like royalty sport. Isn't he like almost royalty with his last name?
Yeah.
And when you see his pictures when he, like with the family when they're going to these like royal famous like socialite events in Spain, I was like, you look like you do some equestrian stuff.
I hear what you're saying, and I have similar reasoning. I chose golf because him and his family give me very much like country club vibes.
100%.
So that's why I chose. And I know he plays it a lot too.
Yeah.
I mean, there were many, like you said.
Yeah,
that
many. Like I know
golf.
Lando. I know how Lewis plays. Like there's so many.
Yes.
So it's just
But Carlos is the Olympic one. Next up, we have Piastri.
So Piastri, I picked the sport because I clicked on it and I saw a lot of Australian medals in that category, and that's why I picked canoe slalom for him.
Oh, okay, nice.
I think he would be good. He's obviously very physically strong, and he's still young.
Yes.
And he can fight with the waves and whatever. I was like, yeah, you got this.
I chose a sport that you had already mentioned for Piastri. Like a sport that you had mentioned on your list already, and I chose badminton for him.
Oh, okay,
because I think it's really fast. You have to be smart. You have to stay calm, and he's very calm.
Yeah, he is.
You don't see a lot of, at least from the badminton I've seen, you don't see a lot of reactions. It's like very focused. So that's why I chose Piastri badminton. Next up, we have Leclerc.
So Leclerc, as I said originally, I thought because I know he always likes to play with a ball in the garage. So I originally had thought about soccer, but then like Monaco doesn't have a team, so I went with fencing.
Oh, nice. Okay, nice. I had chosen him, or for him, I chose equestrian jumping.
Okay.
The one by Versailles that's happening.
Yeah.
Like that kind. Because I also thought he might have this beautiful relationship with his horse because he's so like.
He's a horse boy.
No, because he's a little bit more sensitive, so they have this relationship, and it's like
100%.
So that's why I had.
You can play the piano for the horse.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Next up, we have Norris.
So Norris, I had originally put down for golf because I know that he plays, but then I switched it to boulder speed. So he's speed climbing.
Okay, gotcha. So I like it. I had a hard time with Norris.
Yeah, me too. Well, no, after the golf, but I was like, golf.
Well, yeah, outside of golf. Like, I was trying to find something different, and he was one of the last ones. So I chose, just because I figured he just wants it to be over, I chose a 100-meter sprint.
It's like one and done.
Like, let me just be done with it.
Let's get it over with.
Yes.
But it is in the second week. So you should have probably picked gymnastics.
Well, yes, but I just figured like it's like 10 seconds of running.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if he can do it under 10, but like it's like.
And we're also saying he wants it to be over because we would just watch Girl de F1 grid, and he didn't seem to be into it. He just wanted to be over it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's where
Yeah,
the thought process came from.
Exactly. So last one we have Verstappen.
So Verstappen was actually I wanted to do something that's competitive for him because I know he likes that. I mean, obviously all of them like it, right? But then I was like, very tricky. I don't think I would want to put him in a team sport. So I ended up, for him, I did mountain biking.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I also didn't want to put him in a team sport. He was a little bit trickier for me because I also didn't want anything that seemed too overtly physical, because I feel like I remember seeing videos of him not really wanting to work out and doing all these things, you know? So that's why I ended up giving him shooting. Because it's competitive, it's precise, it's like, it's also not like too physical.
Yeah,
you know,
I see that. I thought mountain biking because there's still speed involved.
Okay,
he
gotcha.
Clearly has the need for
the
speed.
need for speed. Yeah, I was nervous about shooting also because of his temper, in case something doesn't go the right way. Not that he would start shooting. That's not what I'm getting at. But then he would just maybe
lose his cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because you seem to have to be so cool.
Yeah.
Like mentally.
Yeah. But I just want to say, I think for me, the mountain biking, it's not the one where everyone races at the same time. It's the one where they do the individual
down the hill, kind of. Yes. Yeah. Okay, nice. I like it. I mean, not that I can disagree with any of it. Not that any of this is real.
This is all obviously nonsense. But we thought it would be a fun thing to do.
Yes.
While we're waiting for F1 to come back in, is it 2 weeks now?
2 weeks,
2 weeks. And then also, once again, let us know in the comments what you guys think about our choices. Who would you assign which sport?
Yes.
Obviously, no explanation needed because it's all,
it's all fake.
Mumbo jumbo. And then as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yes.
Like and subscribe, and we will be seeing you guys here tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show with some race recap.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.